Hi everybody, it's me Maria with Nail Nation 3000 here on YouTube and Nail Nation on Facebook. For those of you with Twitter, you can follow me if you like at MCS_Nail Nation. Today the video that we're going to be doing for our design will be this here. And I apologize in advance, my hands are really dry. I've been doing chores and my skin has not had a chance to catch up. Need to do some more paraffin, but there's a couple of ways to achieve this look on these nails, and there'll be a second video regarding how to use pigments, powders, and leftover eyeshadow to also achieve this look. But today we're going to be using polish in this video. And I will have a still shot with a list as well of what you'll need, and it will be right now. Okay, so hopefully everybody's had a chance to gather everything that they'll need. Just a quick reference, I used Konad plate M51 in case you didn't catch that on the still shot. I used this image here, and if you have longer nails or smaller nails, you can either combine these two flowers or just use this one. And a quick reference for those of you who own multiple plates, maybe you don't have the Konad plate. The Cheeky XL plate has the same two images, and I know this is the XXL plate, but I know on an XL plate and some of the smaller ones you can find these images on several of the plates because they all seem to kind of dupe each other a little bit. So what I did first was I polished my nails black, and we're going to do it on a swatch stick so you can see it because it's a little bigger. It's a little easier to see on camera. Using Hollow Dreams, which is number 102, and this is from my current collection. For those of you who don't know, I did launch my polish line. I'll put some further information about that in the captions. And also for those of you who are using Nail Nation polish, a lot of people don't realize that you can pop these caps off. So if you're not comfortable with the silver caps that are bigger and a little bit bulkier, you can always use this smaller handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our fan brush and we're going to take a palette and some silver hollow. And what I'm doing here is just putting some here on the palette to dip the brush in. But also what we're going to do, just to give yourself a little bit more of an opacity, is create a little bit of an underneath line here so that that can set in, and then when you go over it with the fan brush, it'll give it the illusion that it's a little bit of a more opaque and solid color and then blending into that gradient look. This, after you let this line set just for a couple of minutes so that it doesn't drag completely off when you are using your fan brush, you're then going to take your fan brush and your palette and you're just going to gently pick up some of the polish, and it can be, you know, quite a bit there. It doesn't have to be totally saturated. You're going to come from a little bit closer to the center of the nail, and then you're going to drag gently, very lightly. Do not press on the nail because you don't want to completely drag off your underneath line. And it's okay that it looks a little dry. It's supposed to. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back at this angle just a little bit with that same polish that you had on the brush. And then we're going to take a little more just to kind of fill in where the lines might not have covered the nail. And for that this is dry, we're going to take our striping tape and we're going to stripe across at a diagonal angle on our ring finger and our thumb. Now, we're also going to be doing image plate over the other 3 nails. So you're going to do all 5 nails on one hand and then go to your striping and then go to your stamping. And the reason we want to do this is that'll also give your striping a little extra time to dry. Striping tape dispenser and either take it and hold it to the nail and pull it across and press as you go, and you can clip it there when you're done, or you can pull out a longer piece, which I've done here. Start in the far corner and give yourself just a little bit of space showing, and then you're going to clip it off. And you can also clip strips that are a little bit shorter and a little bit longer than one another and just use them as you go if that's a little easier for you to do. I typically stick them on my lamp and just go from there. You can space them evenly, and remember that the space between them is the space that will be black. So if you want more silver or more stripes, either space them closer together, or you can pinstripes like this where you put them closer together in sections of 2, and then you just space that a little wider and do 2 close together again. That's going to give you a little bit of a different effect. Okay, now that we've striped our nails completely, and I would recommend going ahead and striping your thumb and your ring finger at the same time, polishing it and going on to the next step, at least on that hand, and complete the hand in its entirety, so that you don't have 2 sets of wet nails at the same time. And this is super simple. All we're doing is taking the black polish and kind of in one thicker coat going across the entire nail. I found it's a little easier when you use a thicker coat versus 2 or 3 thin coats, because you're giving it an opportunity to streak. Now, if you're not comfortable with it, do 1 thin coat and then 1 thicker coat. Then what we do is we take off the tape and we just use our tweezers here, and you just pull them across, and very cleanly, very neatly, just pull them off. And you can let the polish dry completely, or you can take it off when it's wet. I like taking it off when it's wet. I just have fewer problems with it. You're going to find on the side where we gradually streaked the black into the silver is going to look a little darker. That's how it's supposed to look. You'll notice that one side looks a lot darker and the lines actually look closer together, but that's actually the effect created from brushing the hollow across the nail and leaving some black on the side there. And this is actually the complete design for the ring and thumb. So all you have to do now is coat with 2 coats of your favorite top coat. I do recommend a thicker top coat, like my high gloss top coat, Sesh or Posh, because it'll fill in the lines just a little bit. Another tip is you can always go in later with it dry and use your dotting tool and create dots or add a few rhinestones in some of the stripes. That's another fun way to do it. What we're going to do is the design that's actually on these fingers, and this is actually just as easy as what we just did. Now, since this tip is bigger than my actual nails, I'm going to do a double overlap so that you can see it with both flowers. And you can use Konad Special stamping polish. You can use your favorite black if it's thick enough. You can also use, one of the ones that I like to use a lot is Blackout by Sally Hansen Extreme. So we're going to just take our stamper, our scraper, and a lint-free nail gauze to clean my image plates, because there's no acetone in it and it doesn't melt down my stamper either. So what you're going to do first is the larger flower. And what I'm using right now to stamp is, and then you're going to roll it across and kind of at an angle so that it sort of fades into the black. And what I'm using right now to stamp with is actually C&D Blackjack. I have found I have no problem with virtually any black or white polish unless they're really thin. I'm going to take the second flower here, kind of angle it under, and we're just popping it on right there. So it's going to look like this. And you can always add extra dotting, extra vines, other stamps if you have other stamps that you prefer to use. And then for the little tiny bit of detail that I actually put in on a couple of flower petals, I'm using Passionate, which is number 414 from my line. And you're going to take a small detail brush. You can also use a dotting tool if you're comfortable with it. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this purple hollow here, and you can use any color you like. And I'm going to fill in just a couple of the petals. You do not have to color in the whole flower. You can if you like. Just remember to put those dots back into the centers of the flowers. And this just gives it a little bit of dimension when it hits the light. And you just top coat it with 2 coats of top coat. You can also add rhinestones to the centers of your flowers. So you're going to take your stripe